nothing happens. Best time to take action is now.
This is the time to work on you and your business.
So I've created a group,
An online academy for professionals and entrepreneurs. Power Partners will help you
to start helping yourself.
Helped me change my life and my business.
Not a Toastmasters, it's not a BNI, it's not any of these, but it is. So it's all this stuff in one place.
Get the results that you deserve right now. So what are you waiting for? Let's make it happen.
see you in Power Partners.
And although it may seem a little mundane, packing up boxes and, being on the assembly line, what we're really doing is putting in hundreds of hours into the people on the streets who need us. And they need us in a way that none of us will ever understand. And for the last couple of weeks, I've been on the grounds every day. They know we're coming today, they know we're coming tomorrow, and they look forward to seeing us because we're the one little bit of hope that they have to have a warm meal in their bellies and to know that somebody in the world is actually caring for them and loving them. And without people like you showing up today to give your time, your energy, and your spirit, none of this is possible. So I want to really say thank you to everyone, because what we're doing here today may seem small, but it's actually really, really big, and it's impacting hundreds and thousands of families. So I thank you, I love you, I look forward to doing this with you today.
My name is Serena Buffalino, and I am the founder of Help Heal Humanity. Help Heal Humanity is a charity that is focused on unconditional giving, love, and support to some of the most vulnerable communities in the world.
Good morning. I am just doing so well.
Yes, we are. You know what? I'm just doing so well because we are celebrating this whole month. What are we celebrating, Barbara?
We are celebrating that we have been on the air for 2 years.
Yay,
2 years yesterday.
Wow.
And you know what? We've come a long way from that. One of those first slides that you just passed, we just passed, was from the Happiness 101 show, where we just kind of we were winging it, just not really knowing what we were doing, what kind of guests we were going to have, what direction we were going to take. We just knew we needed to be out there talking about happiness.
Yeah.
And hasn't happiness come a long way in 2 years?
It has. And you know, thanks to my wonderful co-host, my delight, my other half, the BBs, I appreciate you so much, because if I keep telling you, if it wasn't for you bringing on these fabulous, you know, guests on our show, it would just be me and you all the time, the talking heads.
Yeah.
It would. But you have brought some just delights on the show.
And two of them are here with us today, and we are going to bring them on because they have been in my life. They have been absolutely instrumental in not changing, but bringing out the happiness piece of what I'm trying to accomplish in the world. Like, I'm on a mission to make happiness the norm rather than the exception. And Regina and Carol have been such a part of that. It's just been amazing. So, yes.
Well, before we bring them on, because you know we always do a little bit of us before we even start the show. I just want to say too that people ask me all the time, because you know, now that I started a while, well, it's been like 2 years now, almost 2 years for me, just doing the Diamond Factor Network.
Diamond
Factor Experience Network. Where I have, I started out with 2 shows a week, and I was nervous a little bit. I'm just gonna be honest, let's be vulnerable here. And saying to myself, who am I to start a show? I mean, I did ask the questions. I'm like, it's not like I'm over or anything, right? At that time, I was saying that, and then people started kind of asking me, oh, Barbara, what are you doing? And I'd like to be a part of it. And you were with me, instrumental. And then Barry came along and some other ladies, and then I started adding another show to the week, and then after that, now we're to 7 shows a week now, 7 compared to 2 in 2 years. So I want to say all that, not just to shine the light on me and to shine light on you, but to shine a light on everybody else out there, to say, if you want to do it, if whatever it is, be it having a show, doing a podcast, just being out there for yourself, please do that. Please take that next step. I mean, I'm thinking of you, Barbara, with what we started.
Yeah, we started here.
And then you started another
phenomenal. And our guest here that I just don't even try to stop her.
I know. Oh, yeah, that's our mascot. But, it wouldn't be an anniversary if our mascot wasn't on the show.
I just don't even try to stop her. She knocks things over if I try. So,
But yes, Barbara, so you started a trend. I mean, just through here, it's like everything formed.
But this was the start.
Yeah. And then, you introduced me to the wonderful Regina and Carol. And then, Regina, she has her own show under the network too now. And then Carol, I mean, you and Carol doing the show together. So it just evolved.
Awesome.
It evolved, and it's just so precious, because it just tells you right there, even when you're not even thinking about it, and then you come together, like you said, you meet other people, and then you be like, that is a good idea, but I need some help. And this is what you're always talking about. Remember when we first started, you were like, I was like, okay, Barbara, you have your own show every week. Do what you want to do. It's your show. And you're like, thank you so much for the opportunity, but no. Somebody else, another person with me. Every time I think of that story, I just giggle. It just makes me laugh in my head because you were like, "No, I need another person. I want to do this not by myself." And
I'm part of my personality is to be part of a team.
And you're part of a team. But I just want to let everybody know this though. I want to just put it out there. Just because we had our she wanted to have the team with me, that doesn't mean Barbara can't do it on her own. She is a firecracker. Okay, Barbara is the firecracker. She can do things on her own. She just decides not to because she likes the team thing. So I don't want people thinking that. Well, every time you do something, you got no. Barbara can do things on her own. She's a powerhouse.
Well, thank you. The thing is to know your strengths. Yes, I think all of us can do things. Yeah. Some of us, though, it's like the introverts and extroverts. We get more, like with me, I love doing things in a group. Mm-hmm. It charges me up. Mm-hmm. And yet the other side of me is that when I want to be alone, it's like, yeah, bye. And I'm done. And I'm very honest with people about that. But when I'm done, I'm done. And so, but the thing is that know yourself enough that you can know what charges you on a consistent basis. Yes, I love doing things on my own. I will do the show on my own the times that you have not been able to come on. I've done my other things. I do Facebook Lives on my own and all of that. But on a consistent basis, it wouldn't be something that I would want to maintain. Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I shared with you is like, but then you got to tell on yourself, you were going to abandon me.
Well, I mean, see, every time you say abandon, that sounds very.
You were thinking it.
I wasn't trying to abandon you. I was trying to make your wings fly on your own show. That's what I was trying to do,
And this is when we can joke about it because it really was because you didn't tell me until a year. I think it was almost over a year later.
Yeah. I was about to go out the back door. Yes, I was about to leave because I was slowly like, okay, I'm going to let her still do her thing. I'll help her for a minute, and then I couldn't go out the back door because I was like, I don't want to go now.
But isn't that
moving to no? I'm not leaving.
Yeah, but isn't that a life lesson? Yeah. And so this is my teaching moment for a moment because it just came to mind. Is that sometimes we have to do something that we don't particularly want to do or like to do, but you do it until, but I like doing this. Oh, I do want to do this. But sometimes you have to get it. It's kind of like when we talk about stretching your comfort zone. Mm-hmm. You don't need to break out of your comfort zone in one jump giant leap, but go forward in one easy step. Take the little easy steps until you get I do like doing this. Oh, I do like doing this. Oh, gee, I do like doing this. And it's those little incremental steps that get you going. Yeah. And so it's like, when Carol comes on, she'll tell you this thing. I kind of pushed her into a few of the things, and yet she's pushed me into a few things. Gina, of course, has been the mother of all. Barbara, come on, Barbara, you can do it. she's the ultimate cheerleader.
I wonder, did that really happen? Wow. I'm not surprised. Yeah. I'm not surprised. This is what we do, right, Barbara? We're just like, I think, now that you're talking about a teachable moment, I was just thinking too, that throughout my whole life, really, I had people, I think because it started with my mother, I call her Sergeant Beckley. I always do because she was a sergeant in my life to me, but in a good way. Before it was the bad when I was young because I was like, really? But when I got older, I'm like, I see why she was Sergeant Beckley, because it moved me in what I needed to do in my life and not hold it back. So I feel like everybody that became coming in my life would always put me in a spot to say, okay, do this, stretch, Get out that box. You can do
Get
this.
out of your comfort zone.
I need you to do this, So get out that comfort zone. And I'm so glad, because if it wasn't, I wouldn't be doing this at all. I mean, I tell people all the time, I said, I wouldn't even be speaking, really. I wouldn't, because I didn't feel like I was supposed to be speaking, because I didn't think I was worth nothing. And that was so much of me in my past. So I'm so glad that I stretched, pushed, gained the confidence, had the right people around me. And that's another thing that's good, to have the right people around you to keep doing that with you. Because if you don't, then, you can fall to this wayside, and you don't want that. Everybody's too special in life to do that.
Let's say, you get some of the famous people that have been told you'll never be an actor. Walt Disney was told you'll never amount to anything. Drawing cartoons, heaven forbid. Who are you? I was listening to the mouse. I was listening to a thing the other day with Lisa Nichols, and one of her teachers said, "Don't ever try to talk in public." I look at her now.
Yeah, I mean, she's one of my mentors. My on instructors, because I got the mentors that are close, and I got the on-screen mentors. And yes, exactly. I always hear her story. And I was, every time I hear that story, I'm like, well, I know they feel kind of stupid right now.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah,
so, but there's always going to be. I think
always going to be though.
Yeah, you're right, Barbara. I always think about it. There's always going to be. I don't care who in the world. There's always going to be somebody that's going to tell you something the opposite of what you cannot do. Yeah, it's just a known fact. It seems like it just happens in everybody's life. It could be a lot of people, or it could just be one person through your one life that said something. Yeah. But either way it goes, it's going to happen, and you have to make that determination to say, "Am I going to listen to that? Am I going to listen to it?" Or are you going
to know the inner, that intuition, that sage that you have within you?
Yes.
This is what I'm supposed to be doing. This I am right now, where I'm supposed to be doing what I'm supposed to be doing with the right people, with the people that I'm doing it with. This group today, this is a prime example.
Yeah. And just making sure that, in your heart and soul, that for a fact, and know what anybody says, because some of you got to pass all that up to say, no, I need to do this. I really, really need to do this. And somebody always tells me it's not something that you want to do, it's something that you have to do. Sometimes when it gets to that in your life, that purpose I always talk about, it's like, it's your calling. It's just like, this is it. This is what I was put to do, and I have to do this. And
I look back on the times in my life where I've said, all right, I'm done. I am not going to talk to one more person. This is it. I am done. And that lasts maybe a day. and then God just puts it on my heart that, okay, go talk to this person. And go do this and go do this. And when Regina comes on, she'll say, oh, she has seen me through it all. Just also, Regina and Carol, which is why I wanted them to be our first guests, our first celebrations, because it's like, oh, wow. And they believed in me when I was still just no clarity, didn't know what I was doing. And Regina tell you the story of when we first met. And
but that's why I say you need people around you.
You need the people around you that believe in you.
Yeah, sometimes believe in you before you even think about what you really have, what you have in you. They see it. Sometimes you see it before you see it. Yeah.
And the thing is, they become your family. Because sometimes your family, they just don't understand.
No,
they don't. No. They will. Sometimes they will support you. Sometimes they don't. But your like-minded mentors and friends, they become your family.
Yes.
And that when you have that magic, it doesn't matter whether they're across the miles. Like it was years before Carol and I met. Regina and I have never met in person. And yet we are besties.
Wow. That's amazing.
It's
how things work. See how things work. Well, it's funny because just going back to, now we're talking all these different stories about wonderful Gina and Carol. Yeah. But I know for a fact that before you introduced me to Regina,
Uh-huh.
I was watching because sometimes I go through Facebook and I see certain people talking and business, business stuff. And I was going through and I seen her talking about, financial and six-digit figure, all this stuff and mindset and everything. I said, "Ooh, I got to stop and listen to this. It was good." You know how you say, "Ooh, this is good."
This is good.
And it was some good stuff coming out. And it was, I was like, "Who is this lady that's talking this?" And she was doing a challenge and stuff. And I said, "Okay, I got to do the challenge." I mean, she just had me hooked, right?
Yeah.
Know that this is going to be the same person that you introduced me to. And when you introduced me, I said, "Wait a minute, that's the lady I was listening to. That was so awesome." I said, "Barbara, you know her?" You said, "Yeah, I've been knowing her for a bit." See, you never see how you. And then next thing you know, she was interested. Well, I kind of I'm tell on myself. I kind of pushed. And I asked her, could she be under the network? Yeah. And you told me she would be a good asset, which you were so right. You was just so right. Yep. And that's how we met. And then the same thing with Carol. So it's like, it all comes around when it's supposed to be. See, that's what I'm thinking. And when it's destiny, I think that's when, they talk about destiny when it happens, that it really is supposed to happen. And it's going to happen, even if it doesn't happen at that time and that you thought. I mean, you and I, we met a long time ago.
Right. Yes.
Didn't see
each other. And then we didn't see each other for what? Almost a year?
Almost a year. But I kept telling you, I said, "Barbara, there's something that we just
knew we were going to do something."
Yeah. I said, there was something there. And when I seen you, I did. It was another live you were doing by yourself. You were by yourself this time. And I think you were pushing yourself to do lives every day. I remember that. You were doing your own challenge. And that's when I reached out to you. So I'm just so happy that we basically listen and let things unfold. Yeah.
The universe has your back.
The universe has our back. Well, you know what? The universe has our back. Now we're going to bring the two other wonderful ladies up, but we're going to go to a sponsor real quick. And then we're going to have some conversation with these two amazing, as I call the lady queens.
The lady queens. Two of my favorite people.
Okay, Barbara, you brought us all together, so you can start the show.
Regina and I, it's been years. And we met not surprisingly, we met on LinkedIn because I was doing something with another group. And it was like, so let's chat. And then it was like, I did one of Regina's challenges, her 5-day challenge. And it was like, and then I did it again. And then I did it again. And now here we are. It's 5 or 6 years now?
It's been a while.
So, but then from Regina's challenge, I went into her mastermind. Well, that's where I met Carol. And I'm going to tell on Carol.
And Carol, you promised me that what was said would stay there.
And she was, and it was so funny because, and I'm going to let you tell it, Carol, just because sometimes Regina, one of her greatest gifts is accepting us where we are, and yet pushing us to do the next thing. Really? Regina, you want me to do what? and all of a sudden it's like, okay, I'll try this. And so Regina, okay, I want you two to introduce yourself. But yeah, so they're my two pushers in my life.
I'll be that kind of pusher. That's a good thing.
We were just saying about pushers. So those are good pushers.
Good pushers.
Good pushers.
I love it.
Yeah. So, but 2 years now. So, and Regina, you remember when I first started this? I said,
Yes.
wow. So we've come a long way. And one of the things that I will share with you is that 2 years ago, so many people were telling me that, oh, Barb, people don't want a show about happiness. Really? Seriously? Happiness? Now it is so many things are about happiness. They're just not calling it happiness.
Mm-hmm.
They're calling it aging gracefully. They're calling it mental fitness. They're calling it, work-life balance. All of those things. People want to be happy. They're just calling it by something else that is more acceptable. How can I just say, I just want to be happy? And yet that was the question that a friend of mine said, well, Barb, what do you want? I said, I just want people to be happy. And that's where everything else has come from.
Yeah.
Because people do want to be happy. They just don't always know how to get it. And they need help sometimes to get them out of their comfort zone or out of their stigma of, oh, I should be able to do it on my own. Yeah, well, no, you can't always. So, anyways. So, Regina, Carol, introduce yourselves.
Awesome.
We need to know who you are.
All right. Well, I'm going to share a little bit then. And I'm going to start with a couple of questions. What if your business numbers, Barb Beckley, you talked about business numbers being one of those things that attracted you in. What if your business numbers told a different story? A story of compounding growth and accelerated profits.
Yeah.
Business owners hire me to uncover a minimum of $100,000 profit plus increased revenue and valuation in their companies because most businesses struggle to create profitability, cash flow, and structure so that they can scale their business. So I help them by assessing their profit potential and creating a unique step-by-step roadmap of how to achieve that profit and their desired goals while, Barb Ellison, you'll appreciate this, while holding their hand through the process of actually achieving results. Bottom line, I help you make more money doing what you love so you can positively impact the lives of others and make a true difference in the world.
Right. And what comes back to that is you want to be happy in your life and your business, because what happens in your business brings over into your life, and what happens in your life goes over into your business.
Yeah.
We're just calling it something different.
Yeah.
But it's absolutely amazing. So Carol.
So first of all, what story were you going to tell? So what you wanted me to tell.
That you were semi-retired.
Okay. That's where I was going. Okay. And I don't remember how long. I mean, Regina and I met when we were both speakers at an event that another friend of mine did. And it was great. We met, we talked, and then she did her challenge. And I joined her challenge. And that it's led to what? Are we at 5-6 years now, Regina?
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Go back and figure out all these times.
Yeah, we need to figure that out because I would just kind of like to know. But I had a brick and mortar modeling and talent agency, and I had closed it. And I was kind of sitting on the porch and, going out and scouting when people called me, coming and speaking at events when people called me. And that was about all that I was doing. And one morning we meet now once a month. Back then, I think it was every week or every 2 weeks that our mastermind met. And she said, Carol, you say you're semi-retired, but your brain is hearing retired. And I said, well, that isn't half bad. I live on a lake. I can sit and look at my lake and have my quiet time and my coffee in the mornings. So that, I live a very wonderful life. I cannot complain at all. But she was right. I was, I'm not old enough to just go into the quiet peacefully, whatever. And I just have a heart for people and wanting them to do better. And so that has evolved into what I was doing anyway. When I had the Model and Talent Agency, parents would send their kids to me and say, go see Carol. If she can't get you well, then I'll take you to the doctor. Let's go see Carol for free first. So anyway, and that was just something I did for years. My husband had a traumatic injury, and so we worked through that over the years. And I just saw those things as normal everyday life. And Regina kept saying, Carol, you need to figure out a way to bring this to people. And, she and the rest of the group kept saying, you need to do a workshop. You need to do some different things. And then one day Barbara and I were talking, and I had reached out to Barbara several times about, excuse me, about just, different things we were working on in the mastermind and things like that. And we had become friends. But then finally one day, I challenged her. And she took the bait. Barbara's a freak, okay? She loves to learn and she loves to win challenges. So all of that to be said, that she and I started collaborating. And then all of a sudden we decided to do our show together, and it's Monday Morning Motivations. And she was going, Carol, you need to do a show. You need to go do a show. And I said, well, okay, let's do it. So we proceeded to do that. And we are 9 months in, I guess. Yeah. Something like that. Our Monday Morning Motivations. First, we started a Facebook page, and then we started that. And then we started the Thoughtful Thursdays, where we have interviewed both of these wonderful ladies. And, just love bringing people to the forefront of our clients. And that has gone on into the Aging Experts. And one of my focus is to help people live the second half of their life better than the first. And there is no reason to be ill. There is no reason to be, downtrodden and just, sad, mean, crotchety, all those things that go with old age. You don't have to be that way. And my mom was always saying, birds of a feather flock together. And so I'm going to circle back to what the girls were saying about your friends and who you're around and how that matters. And if you think about it, you are the sum of the 5 people that you're closest to. So sit down and write down, who are your 5 closest friends? What do you bring to the table? What do they bring to the table? Right. And I'm not saying ditch the ones that don't bring something. But even in 1 Corinthians 15:33, it says, don't be fooled. Bad company corrupts good morals. Yeah. How many, there is so much truth in that book, but how many of you have known somebody who fell into a bad crowd? Or, stop and think. Some people get old, and I'm not at all saying anything bad about the little bridge clubs or the crochet circles or whatever. But if that group, all they do is do an organ recital every time they meet, and how many of y'all know what an organ recital is? Well, my lungs are doing this, and my pancreas is doing that, and I've got a hitch in my get along. Well, if that's all they talk about, they are going to spiral down into that. And I have this one group on Facebook that some friends put me in, and it's asking for prayer, and so they're wanting to do better, but it's like, oh my, and so it's a place they can go to handle it the right way. But stop and think, if you're around people that all they do is be crotchety crotchety and old, and if you don't want to be that way, start minimizing your time with that group. Don't cut them off because they may need you, but minimize your time with those people. So I've just got to say, Barbara and I we even will get on Zoom and work together where that we're both doing our own work and say, what about this? And we'll run something by the other one. And then we'll go back to our work. And then, and it's like if you were in a room together, as opposed to having stop, call them, make sure that it's a time they can talk, to ask a question that takes 2 seconds. And we don't do it as often as we did, but it has been very beneficial for our businesses. So anyway, Regina, we have grown.
We all have, haven't we?
And I look at all the girls in the group, and we've had some guys join, but they haven't stuck. Yeah, but our mastermind, everybody, I mean, one girl is Brenda on her 3rd book now?
Oh no, let's see, I think it's beyond that. And they're all bestsellers, and and her goal is to publish one a month this year. And she's on target.
Well, and Regina and Barbara and them even had me go and publish a book, on autophagy, basically.
We encourage each other. Absolutely. Yes. We support and encourage each other. Yeah.
So, wow, that's this is nice. I like this type of talk instead of that. What do you call it, Carol? The
organ recital.
Organ recital.
I love that. I'm going to use that.
I got to go share that one with my husband when we hop off of here.
But stop and think about it. How many? And that was like accepted as common practice back.
Oh yeah.
When we were younger, But we are not like our grandmothers. We are not like our mothers. We are not going quietly into the night.
and it goes back to what Barbara's saying about happiness too, and that happiness is a choice. To be happy is a choice, but it means that you need to take steps once you make that choice. There are actions you need to take. And Carol, you've outlined a bunch of those there in what you were just saying, but there are actions that we need to take once we make the choice to be happy. And that doesn't mean that it's always easy to be happy. There are times in our lives when major traumatic events happen, and it's really hard to find that happiness. But as long as we desire it and still make the choice for it, it will ultimately surface. In the meantime, I think we go through a lot less stress, heartache, all of those things if we're choosing happiness, even though that's a difficult path sometimes. The one that comes to my mind was when my husband passed in 2014, and I had to walk the walk and talk the talk, because I'd always said happiness is a choice. And it was my choice, but it took a while to find it. Yes. But I worked at it every day. So, it's just, it is a choice, but you got to take steps.
Choose you this day.
Yeah,
exactly. And it starts with the morning. Just like the 25, 30 years that Keith was debilitated and I was his caregiver, that was a choice.
Exactly.
A choice. And that's and I will say, ladies, I never thought of any of that, of what I've walked him through. And for the viewers, he was on, after back surgery went awry, 2 heart attacks, stents, quadruple bypass. Okay, he was on 23 medications. That's prescriptions. That's not 23 pills. That's prescriptions, heavy doses. And I mean, one was 8, 2 of them were 8 a day. And the doctors had said he would never get off. He is down to 2 prescriptions, and those are at about 10% of what he was taking. 2, down from 23. But I never saw that as a big deal, because that was just life. That was daily life, one step in front of the other, doing research to try to keep him healthy or get him healthy, whatever. Yeah. And he is very active now, and he could do nothing. I mean, literally, he was on a walker and in a wheelchair when we would go out in public. And so that's it. And we never went in public because it was such a big deal. I mean, we would go to doctor's appointments and that was about it. We might go out and eat when we went to a doctor's appointment because those are 45 miles away. But now, I mean, active, and it's a whole different life. But it was I never realized until they had me tell my story that I realized, ooh, I have a story. I can help people to be happy, to be healthy, to have a better second half of their life. But it was these ladies having me tell that story over and over.
And honing it.
That I realized that it mattered.
Yeah. I like what Regina said. Well, I like what you're all saying. I'm just loving this conversation. But I really like when you mentioned that, you have to make that choice. And it takes time. It takes a choice to be happy.
It does.
It really does. And with a lot of things that's gonna kind of go towards you to not make you happy, that's the thing that you have to keep in your mind and say, okay, my heart and my soul, I have to do what I have to do, because I'm thinking about, like, Carol with her husband all those years, she had, now every day wasn't a happy time. No, I have to say, just to be open and honest here, every day wasn't a happy day for that. There was some days I know Carol was like, oh my God, it's my husband. He's going through this. I hate that he's going through it, and then you bounce back and say, but you know what? I got to be there for him. I got to be the positive energy. And just like you, Regina, when you lost your husband, I know for a while it was, like you said, you were going through those things, and Barbara as well. And then, I think just not just within our family, different things that happen, but on the outside, like right now, I mean, if I hear about one more shooting, sometimes I feel like I just want to scream, just go outside my door and just scream and say, what is going on? And that's why I tell people mental health is real. Mental health is real. But we have to be, like you said, we have to stand strong. All of that that's going on. And not saying it's not there, because sometimes some people want to get in denial mode. I'm like, no, you can't get in denial now. This is not time to be in denial, but there is a time to show up and show that there's still, through all of this craziness, there's still happiness that can evolve.
It's so important what you just said, Barb. And can I add that another element of happiness is gratitude?
Oh, yeah.
That's a huge element of being happy, is being grateful for what you do have. Being grateful for each moment, has its opportunity for gratitude. And expressing that gratitude is just so powerful in your life. And literally, gratitude was what got me more quickly through that grief journey. Helped me move towards happiness faster was gratitude.
Grateful.
Would have taken me a lot longer without that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every
I
day
read a book years ago, and it said it was a book that somebody said, be thankful. If your husband throws his socks in the floor all the time, don't rail at him, don't gripe, don't. It's like, I'm thankful I have a husband that throws his socks on the floor.
There you go.
And it doesn't mean that it's going to change anything. It might, but it doesn't. And so yes, that gratefulness to get up every morning, and every single person out there can find one or two things. Be grateful for. If you can find 3 to 5 and speak it out, with the words of your
write
mouth.
it down.
Yes, Lord, I am thankful for the sun coming up. I'm thankful for the beautiful weather. I'm thankful that I have a house. I mean, if you don't have a house, if you live in a box, I'm thankful that I have a box. I'm not just out on a park bench. I mean, everyone can find something to be thankful for. And so that gratefulness is huge.
It is. And the more you express it, like you said, Carol, maybe it's only a couple of things that you can really latch on to today. But you do that every day, and a week or two from now, you're able to see more blessings in your life and express more gratitude. The more you do it, the more you can see it, and the more you can express that gratitude. And it just grows.
And to remind others to be grateful.
Exactly. Yeah. And one day on our show, Barbara and I, we were talking about gratitude, and I said, "Joe, do you want to have just a total gratitude moment? And let's get all just like really, put your feet on the floor and put your hands in your lap, and let's take a celebrate. You're alive. You just took a breath. Be grateful for it." Well, Barb about fell off her chair. She was like,
because I'm thinking we're gonna do this whole thing. I mean, I was ready for like a lot of things to happen, and then when she said, "There, grateful that you're breathing," I was like, "Okay, she's so right." I mean, let's start with that.
Yes,
the next
more
breath,
people need to hear that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially after this pandemic, it's good if you can breathe. I mean, it's like
that you are taking a breath. That you're
still here.
You're here. You're taking a breath. You have arms and legs, and you have your five. If you can't think of anything to be grateful for, be grateful for your five senses that you can see and hear and taste. And
whichever
touch.
ones that you have. Some people don't have all five.
If you don't have all of them, be grateful for what you do.
If you have all of them, be grateful for them. If you're missing one of them, in every missing, there's a gift of something else. Like the people, so often the people that are blind, they can hear, their hearing gets so much better.
Right. Compensation. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. But yeah, Barbara got me on that one.
Yeah.
I said, you got me again, Barbara.
Another element to that too is if you just took that breath, you're still here. It means you still have a purpose here.
Right.
And if you really want to access that happiness, work on figuring out what that purpose is and fulfilling it.
And that's where Barb comes in.
I love it.
Your purpose, your passion, and your drive.
Yeah.
What excites you in the morning? What excites you in your day?
Yeah.
So, and that can change. Ask Regina where I started.
It changes for all of us, Barb.
Right. You know what? But you know what? Just to add to that, it can change, and that's why I tell people when I get on this whole thing. You got me on my soap opera with the purpose, passion, drive. But it can change, but the internal, what you want to do doesn't change. Like you want to create happiness, but it might go in all different directions. Yeah, but it's still the main thing for you, Barbara, is you want to make happiness the norm. And I love that about you so much because it's so much needed now than ever. I mean, it's been needed forever, but now I just see it.
Yeah.
And we need to have a flag now to make happiness the norm.
And it has more and more shows like this come on, as more and more people are embracing gratitude and are embracing it. And like Regina, what's her podcast called? Pursuing Profits Principles.
With principles, yes.
Principles,
yeah.
Wow. Carol, Life by Design. You can design your life.
Yes.
Your diamond factor. The diamond. We all have a diamond in us. With me, I'm the wellness playroom because it's about having wellness in all your areas of your life. Wow.
I kind of like that playroom. I don't know, for so I love the playroom part because it makes me want to pick up a ball or something.
Yeah.
But when Barbara just said diamond, what just hit my brain so big is diamonds are made under pressure.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, we all know that, but if we don't go through that pressure and we don't hold on to gratitude and love in that pressure, we get to be crotchety.
Yeah.
So, it circles back.
And Beckley, you were saying that, the journey may change, but the internal desire is there feeding that change. And that reminds me, in with my business, I started out, really wanting to help individuals and couples, especially, and I have a huge passion for families and helping families and creating those generational impacts. And what I found was that it was a lot harder to get businessmen to come to a marriage retreat than it would be to get them to come to a business retreat, right? And so my path changed. The end goal didn't change, but my path changed. So now I do business coaching because I know as I impact that business positively, it impacts that family and that marriage and creates that generational impact, because that business is not failing. There's less stress in the home. And when there's less stress in the home, the parents can be good parents. They can set a good example. Children learn what a marriage should look like, and they can go out and recreate it, because we recreate what we see and what we learn. And so, it didn't work out really well just going straight for the marriage. So I found another path. It didn't change the internal desire at all.
I mean, like, they always say it doesn't matter how you get to the end of it, as long as you got somewhere to where that main, whatever you're doing inside of you, it doesn't matter what path you took, what road was there. Yeah, but I always tell people, because some people are like, well, I need to do this. I talk to some people, well, I know I had to get down this road to get to this point. And I'm like, it's not going to happen. I always tell them at the beginning, I said, that's not going to happen. You have a lot of detours. You're going to have some things going on. And they look at me like, what? You're supposed to tell me about the direction. I'm like, I'm telling direction. It's going to be all the different ones going down the lane.
And that's the cool thing about this detour. Oh, go ahead, Carol.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, the cool thing about this change of path is it actually allowed me to impact a lot more people. Because if I'm just going for that family, yes, that's a generational impact. But there's a limit to the number of people. I mean, not really, but the immediate limit. Generationally, there's no limit. But helping the business owner now means that I've not only helped that family, but I've helped that business succeed, which means its employees are doing better, which means its community is doing better. And literally there's a global impact. If you take that out far enough, there's a global impact by working through the business to get to that family. So yeah, don't kick at the bricks when it comes to potential changes in the path to get there. Recognize that we don't always have all the answers, and we need to be open to that inspiration of how we get there. Yeah. The detours are inspiration.
And just to add to that, Regina, when you have people like on this, well, I'm calling it panel, but our guests, family, let's just say, you have family and friends that can be a part of that path. Yeah. That might get you to different directions. I look at all of us, how we start off, okay, well, I'm just going to do this. Next thing you know, we got 10 shows.
Right.
Out of all of us, it just birthed out to all these shows. Yeah. I never knew that all this would happen under, just one idea or 3 or 4 ideas that Barbara had, I had, you had. So don't limit yourself. Because like you said, Regina, you don't want to put yourself there because first of all, it hurts you. It really does, because you have so many wonderful gifts in each one of us. And second of all, it's going to hurt others that need you. Yeah. That you didn't even think that you was going to go on that path to help the people like you said that you do right now.
Right. So, yeah, so we have to be open to the possibilities.
Yeah.
Right. And as one of the things Regina says all the time too is that and this is for me and for Cal, I think for every one of us, we love being part of the ripple effect.
Yes, absolutely.
The stone that we put into throw in the lake right now, that we're thinking, oh brother, it's such a tiny stone, but oh brother, the ripple out that's going out.
Yeah, I mean, just look at the ripples just from the 4 of us. Huge ripples that cover the earth.
And then when I see all of you ladies doing what you do, which I just always have this big smile on my face and I just be cheering you on. You don't see it, but I be in the background.
We feel it.
You feel it.
I appreciate it.
I just see so many other people attaching it, and that ripple effect, like you said, Barbara, that's for each and every one of you what you're doing. And it's just amazing. It just takes my heart. It really does, because it's what's needed. It's what's needed right now. Yeah.
Should we break into a verse of what the world needs now is love?
Please now.
I'll let those of you who can carry a tune do it.
Yeah, not me.
Do a grand one. But we laugh, but it's true. Regina, it's true. The world needs now is love, sweet love. And,
amen. And that would stop a lot of the things that you were talking about
But don't
earlier.
y'all feel like more people are seeking after that since the shutdown? I've noticed podcasts are all moving from business to servanthood.
Yeah, a lot of them are.
Yeah. So many people are coming out now, and so many people found their voice during the shutdown because they weren't so busy going here and going there and going and doing this. They had to kind of sit with their own thoughts a little bit and think, what am I going to do? And what path am I on? What do I want to do? And an example, Barbara and I have an event to be, and Regina is considering it. But Barbara, she could fly, but she's thinking about coming down in a car and getting me. But then she can choose what vehicle to bring her here. And so you can choose what vehicle you bring, you drive to get to your destination. You've got your destination, which is your heart cry, but you can choose your vehicle. And we spoke to Regina last night about come up here and just ride the rest of the way with us and go. And Barbara, you could do that. You could go over and start with Barbara, Barbara Beckley could start with Barbara Ellison and come down here. I mean, that would be
a road trip.
That would be a fun road trip.
A road trip.
Road trip from heaven. Highway to heaven.
But it just
go ahead.
One of the things I think my biggest thing is that people, you have choices. Just be open to what you hear, little things that you can hear. Oh, I could do that. And all it starts is with one little thing.
Yeah.
It's a thought.
She calls me every day saying, I'm really feeling like I'm being nudged to drive on this trip. And where we're going is a gentleman who does a seminar. It normally runs over $2,000 for a 2-day seminar. We're getting 3 days with him for only $197. And you can buy a second ticket So I mean, it is a valuable training that we're going to get on all this kind of stuff. I mean, he's top notch, well known, and used to teach corporate, and he's now doing an event, and we've been invited to go to it at a discount because of what we do. Is why we've been invited to it at such a discount. So we invite you. We can take friends. We can take friends with us at that discount. So we invite you.
If you live in Texas or somewhere between Chicago and Texas, let me know.
Well, and you can fly in. If you don't, we can arrange the fly-in part. But it is. I mean, it's not about any particular business or anything. It's about you and your. We're exactly what we're talking to here, how your impact on your life and on the world. And I mean, he is a master trainer. We got to sit under him for just a couple of hours one time. And I guess more than a couple of hours, but Barbara and I got to sit, under his teaching some already. And so it's like the minute they announced this and opened up tickets, like, we're there. Excuse me.
Up first.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for saying that. We need to put that somewhere if people are interested, or reach out to either one of you. Regarding that. But I know with time right now, I looked, I was like, wow, it's almost 1 minute. But for Carol and Regina, I want to thank you, and Barbara, of course, my co-host, for celebrating our first week, really, for our anniversary for the 2 years we've been on Time to Shine Happiness Show. You'll see them again. This is our family. They're gonna come on all the time. We're gonna put them on. But I just want to make sure, even though the time is here, but I still want to give you at least 30 seconds each to say any last things to the audience. So I'll start with Regina.
Well, I am just honored to be here and be a part of this and to watch you two ladies grow and go. and all that you're doing in the world. It's a pleasure to be a part of both of your lives. And I've had a blast today. I've laughed a ton in the green room watching you guys and listening to you in the beginning. I'm honored by the kind things that you've said about the part of the ripple that you're making that I've been blessed to be a part of. And so I just thank you so much.
You'll make me cry.
I've got to say that y'all have so enriched my life. I wouldn't be doing any of this if it weren't for Regina, and then for the two Barbaras. It has grown me, and like I said, I was happy. I was enjoying my life, semi-retired. And now I fit that retirement in around lots of things, but I get to do so much of it from home, so I'm not making that 45-minute drive. So it's a wonderful life, and these women have laid out such a roadmap, and said, "Come on along. Let's go on a road trip." A little different road trip than we were talking about before. But I've got to say thank y'all so much for inviting me along on the ride.
I just want to thank you both again over and over, that just being a part of this wonderful ripple effect, that I look at you all as my mentor, and I really do. You give me a lot that I think about every minute of the day, because I say to myself, if these wonderful ladies can go out and do what they do, what's stopping me? So that you push me to the next level. So I wanted you all to know that. A lot of times we don't get to say that because we're so busy, as people say, but when we need to slow it down for a second and be thankful, as we were talking about, and grateful for the people in our lives and in our circle. So I want to thank you, all three of you, Barbara, Regina, and Carol, for being in my circle and for helping me and lifting me up every day to say, there is hope, there is happiness, and be thankful. So thanks.
Awesome.
And Miss Barbara, you got to say something now.
This is what this little group, right? This is the epitome of happiness, of being happy. Surround yourself with people that are aligned with what you value. Let them push you. Let them tell you, "Oh, Barb, should you be doing that?" Or, "Gee, this might be a better way." Those kind of things. But this is the ripple effect. This is the epitome of family. Doesn't matter that Barb's in Wisconsin and you two, Regina and Carol are both in Texas and I'm in Illinois. Oh, wow. And yet we are family. So find your family.
Why is that song coming up now? We are family. I got all my sisters.
Must be the song of you.
Yeah, the songs are coming in my head.
Yeah, I'm hearing "We Are Family," the Barbara and Regina's and me. The Barbara and me.
I love it.
Exactly.
We got to get that recorded. Well, thank you so much, ladies, for enjoying us, our anniversary Time to Shine Happiness Show.
2 years.
Such an honor.
Bergman.
Little did we know.
Yeah. BBs, the BBs.
The BBs.
I love it. So we'll be on next Tuesday with some more guests to celebrate our anniversary. The whole month. We're doing the whole month. Barbara said we're doing the whole month.
We're celebrating the month.
So, and I'm loving it. So we'll see you next Tuesday. And again, thank you, ladies. Please reach out to these wonderful ladies because they have so much to offer in life to you. Take care.
Have a good one.